Okay, so here we have Rudy Gay, UConn star, UConn Huskies. Everybody knows about the UConn Huskies. Rudy Gay, Emeka Okafor, Ray Allen, Stanley Robinson, Ben Gordon. I can go on and on. UConn, right? You know, they're talking about Cade Cunningham. You know, the Pistons, they may be back. Like they may be back. I think like the NBA. I think like as long as I've been watching the NBA and kind of like been a part of it, um, the NBA is the Lakers in Boston. That rivalry. The Chicago Bulls and Detroit Pistons, that rivalry. Um, New York Knicks. You see what I'm saying? Like I think like with the Pistons like being back and them being relevant, I'm excited for Joe Dumars. Like he put his all into this franchise, and like you see now, like it's finally paid off. It's finally paid off. So like you see the players like who've been carrying the league. Carmelo Anthony, you know, his counterpart, his battle buddy, LeBron James scoring 50,000 tonight against Zion Williams. And Zion Williams, he's there to see it. He's there to witness it. Um, how exciting can it be like for right now, right, for the NBA, for NBA fans, NBA fans who are invested into the league? Like how exciting is that? You know what I mean? Like LeBron, he's put his all into human affairs, um, helping people be excited about living, as far as having um, an adage to basketball. Like he makes it fun all the way around. You know what I mean? Like he's been in the league. His personality has rubbed off on people. He just been like an excellent person to like the entire franchise of Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like he's been that person. Me personally, I wish that LeBron James would have never left for Cleveland. I think like being from Ohio, right, and you seeing what the franchise have been through, what the people have been through. Like I think that would have been. I think the story would have been even greater had he stayed in Cleveland. I think the story of LeBron James, the nostalgia about him, right? I think it would have been even greater, you know, than say he went to Miami and he went to LA. I think it would have been even greater had he stayed in Cleveland, you know? Um, Forget, people saying, they may not want to go to Cleveland. Like, he doesn't need anybody. Like, you see what Cleveland is doing right now in the league. They're like one of the best teams, without a superstar, really. Like at best, who they have, as far as a star, is that point guard, right? I forgot his name. The new young guy. Like he's probably, he's probably a veteran by now, but the new young guy who just got there from Utah. He's a point guard. So like now they're talking about Cade Cunningham. Like is Cade Cunningham the truth? Is he's the next guy? He has players like Isaiah Stewart that's helping him. Um, I haven't been able to watch the Detroit Pistons, and because I'm in an area where they don't allow it. Like I can't watch the team play. And I'm not a fan of the Pistons. I'm not a fan of the Lakers. I'm a fan of the Chicago Bulls. That's who I grew up going to see at the United Center. That's who I grew up, watching. I grew up watching Kirk Heinrich pass the ball to Ben Gordon. I grew up watching Jamal Crawford and Eddie Curry. I grew up watching, part of Michael Jordan's era, him and Scottie Pippen. I grew up watching, um, Derrick Rose and Carlos Boozer and Luau Deng. That's what I grew up watching. Um, And I think like for our franchise, right? They just gave away Zach LaVine for nothing. And we pretty much got nothing in return. We got nothing in return for Zach LaVine. And that kind of like set the franchise backwards. It's almost like, they make these deals and you kind of set forth the idea that maybe they don't want to win. Maybe they just set in the idea of tanking. You know what I mean? Like, here you are, you're not going to get Cooper Flag. You're not going to get him. The guy from Duke. You're not going to get him. It's like, why even tank? Like, who do you want in the draft? It's like you should have kept Zach LaVine if you weren't going to get a tier 2 or tier 1 player back. You know what I mean? Like, you should have kept him. Like, you could have traded Zach LaVine for maybe, I don't know, Draymond Green or Kevin Durant. Or, you could have put him in a package to get, Kyrie Irving or somebody. Like, you could have got a superstar back. Or you could have just got picks back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have got picks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a lottery pick for Zach LaVine, maybe you can get Cooper Flag. Maybe, just maybe. But now they're in a situation where, they didn't get anything in return. I don't even know if they got a pick back for him. But they didn't get anything in return for him. It's like they just gave a piece away, and like now they're stuck with a team that's if they get through next season, right, they're going to be a lottery team. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't even know who the lottery picks, you don't know who the lottery guys are going to be next year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not looking at draft classes that are deep right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you would have had Zach LaVine, like, 10 years ago, like, okay, maybe, maybe you could have tanked. But like, you look at the players, like, who is the player that was playing like 10 years ago, like, who is relevant now, maybe? Like Paul George, Joel Embiid. Like, none of them players are around. You know what I mean? Like, none of them players are around right now. So it's like, you give away Zach LaVine, you don't get anything back. What are you going to do with Vooch? What are you going to do with, that's the only player that's left on the team. Him and Vooch. Like, what are you gonna do with Vooch? What are you gonna do with Lonzo Ball? You know what I'm saying? Like, now Lonzo Ball, he doesn't have a shooting guard. Vooch, he doesn't have a defender on the side of him, someone who can rebound. You know what I mean? Are you gonna call up Dwight Howard and say, "Hey, you want to play on the Bulls?" Like, I noticed that, like, the Chicago Bulls don't get premium players. They don't get star players anymore. Like, after Jordan, like, we haven't had anyone since, Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? We've only had Jordan and Rose. And then he's like, who do you look at else on the franchise and say, like, yeah, we got him now? Like, those are our only 2-star franchise players. We haven't had franchise players out of them 2 players right there. So I gotta get I gotta get Bam's jersey from the Miami Heat. I gotta get his jersey. I gotta get his jersey. I got Joel Embiid's jersey. I gotta get his jersey. You know, so Pistons, they may be a hot team. Pistons are a team that I don't want to play in the playoffs. If I'm the Boston Celtics or somebody, like, I don't want to play the Pistons. You don't want to play the Pistons. The Pistons, they are playing they playing like, players. They're playing like, guys who you see playing at, uh, the Rucker Park. They playing like players who you see at the park. That's how they play. They're playing like players who you see at the park. Everybody else in the league is just playing like, they're fighting for, a bench spot, on a roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how everybody else is playing in the league. The Pistons are playing like premier players. They're playing like premier players. So Carmelo Anthony, his son is going to be in the NBA draft soon. Gilbert Arenas, his son is going to be in the NBA draft soon. Um, you know, these players, like the players who are coming in right now, they're going to be pretty good. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing them, ball out. I'm looking forward to them, do what they have to do, man. Because like this next class that is coming up, man, like the guards are going to be heavy. I don't know so much about the big man, but like the guards are going to be heavy. Um, like Garland out there, Cleveland, like he's a good guard. you know. Like you got to be on the watch out for the guards though, because like they're coming in, and like if there's not enough roster spots, we may be seeing a lot of small ball soon, because like these players they're not leaving any second choices. So I want to see what the Detroit Pistons do in the playoffs this year, if they even make it, right? I want to see what they do. I haven't looked at the standings, but I want to see how they do, and I want to see, is Cade Cunningham, the next superstar. I don't think he's going to replace LeBron or anybody, but we want to see. Is he that guy now? Is he that guy who everyone is looking at and saying, he's next up? You know what I mean? He is what Grant Hill was supposed to be for, that franchise. So we're going to see. He has to play against Tatum and Brown. He has to play against other players that are on other Eastern Conference franchises. So we're going to see it. Is he going to outbeat the Boston Celtics? Is he going to give them a run for their money? We're going to see. So Kevin Durant, it look like he's ready to retire. Him and Bradley Beal, they don't look like they don't look like they're meshing. You know what I mean? Like they don't. It's like you look at it on service, right? You look at it like, okay, these are premier players in the league. They have what it takes to win a championship now. You got Bill at the 2, you got Durant at the 3, you got Booker at the 1. Why can't they win it? That's offensive power right there. But they can't win. Then you got Bobo, he can play the 4 if he needs to, and he can play the 3 if he needs to. But they don't look like a team, that's going to scare the Denver Nuggets. That's going to scare the Lakers. You know what I mean? They don't look like that team. So we don't know what's going to happen, but you never know with Durant, man. He might catch fire, and he might just end a season off on a tear. You just never know. But it looks like all the players right now who are, leaving out the league, it looks like they're hyped about podcasting. You know what I mean? They want to tell their story. So a lot of the fans, who kind of left away from the NBA, this is the time they've been waiting for. They want to hear these players' stories, what they know about the league, how can other players or other men who want to get into the league or women who want to get into the league, how can we get in the league now? You know what I mean? How can we benefit from the fact that we've invested so much in this culture, and this culture has become our culture once again? So that's Durant. That's where he's at right now. He's doing podcasting. So, hey, let's see how this goes, man. Rudy Gay, he's just one of those players that I kind of see like, if he was on, a team with like LeBron James or somebody, he could have been Iguodala. Like to me, he had just as much talent as Andre Iguodala. He was just never in a winning situation, being with Memphis Grizzlies and stuff like that, the Jazz. He was just never on a winning situation. But like he could have won a ring, won at one point in time he could have won a ring. So I know the Memphis Grizzlies are treating them right. Like they're treating the players like who was there. They're treating them right. Like Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, Rudy Gay. Like they're treating them right, man. Like this is what I'm saying. Like when our Hall of Famers, when they retire from the game, you know what I'm saying? Like they deserve a plateau. They deserve, a sense of reservedness once they deserve that calmness. You know what I'm saying? Like they played at a high level. You know what I'm saying? Like they deserve more than just a podcasting gig. They deserve a spot in that franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like with leisure, ultra leisure. Like you played all your life playing basketball. Like you deserve a break. You know what I'm saying? Like you deserve a break, man. It's like get these players that just do, man. Like we want to see these players do what they have to do. Like we haven't heard from Emeka Okafor, man. It's like, Bob Cash, they didn't. He could have been a player, right? Who could have been a great ambassador for the NBA. Like he could have been a face. He could have been a commissioner. To me, Emeka Okafor could have been a commissioner. Like that's what I wanted to see, right? I wanted to see him and Kimbo Walker get those rings. That's what I wanted to see. Like Ray Allen, he's an excellent, ambassador. Kevin Garnett, excellent podcaster. You know what I'm saying? Like the transitioning out of the NBA, that's the thing. That's the thing right now. So we're gonna see how the young players carry the league. I want to get back out there and play basketball, man. And it's like, summer's coming up. You know what I'm saying? I want to be out there playing basketball. I want to get back in shape. So, I may not get to play a full season, but like I can definitely, be out there running and whatnot on the grass and, get back out there and play, get some recordings up, you know what I'm saying? Me playing basketball. Like that's what I really want though, Basketball is a fun. It's like basketball is more than life to me. You know what I mean? Like it's it's a fun game. It's more than a game actually. It's like it's fun to basketball is just one of those things where it's hard to explain like what it really is. But you see everything in it. It brings people together. Um, the competitiveness is at levels. Is at a level speed. You know what I mean? Like you don't get violence out of playing basketball. You know what I mean? Like only people who get violence out of playing basketball is people who don't need to be playing it and like people who don't need to be a part of the culture. You know what I mean? Like look at Kevin Durant and his finesse. Like you look at him and it's like that's the guy who you come to the court every day to see play basketball. You know what I mean? Like he's reserved, He's clearly talented, you know. You want to know how far and and what precision is he going to hit that net as far as him throwing the ball up, So basketball is like one of the best hobbies you can ever have outside of playing chess. It's one of the best hobbies ever. It's a culture that you take with you until you're in your old age. You know what I mean? Like it's a culture that you always around. You teach boys how to be men, around the game of basketball, you know? Cause like people come from all four corners and they learn this sport and they introduce people to food, they introduce people to language, they introduce people to tradition, they introduce people to style, they introduce people to music. You can learn everything from basketball when you meet people, you know. And I see this in the international players who come to America. I see this when I see the guy from Germany, the point guard, Dennis Schroeder. I see this in him. Like, I would love to know his story. I would love to sit down and talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, to learn more about his journey. You know what I mean? Carmelo, his people being from Puerto Rico. LeBron being an Ohio native. You know? Stephon Marbury going to China. You know? Clee Anthony Early going to the Emirates, you know, and coming back here to his hometown, New York. You know, playing for Wichita State. Sharon Collins playing for Kansas University. Patrick Beverly playing for Arkansas Razorbacks. You know, this is how you get to meet everyone and see everyone and how they've done. You know what I mean? Like, how have you done in majoring in you know, doing your minors? You know what I mean? How have you done? What have you learned about people from all these corners of life who come to see you play basketball? You know, you get to see the side, the full display of people, you know, the length, you know, the skill levels. You get to see all these things, how people interact, the brotherhood. You get to see all of this, you know. This is why I love the game of basketball. You know, no one can say basketball has um, created a debt in society. You know, all the people who play basketball, they have an advantage at life. You know, they may not have the best of life, but they have an advantage at life. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to, you know, what is his name? Young Pharaoh talk about how, you know, we're made of stardust. Like, how is it that you see all our people and they come in many different shades, many different colors, and it's like you look up at the sky, you see them in their reflection as to what is on the bottom. You know, you see a person's skin and you see a star and it shines, right? And you look right beside it, you see, you know, an element or a mass configuration of, you know, a navy consortation, or like, you know, a black consortation, and then you see right there half of a moon that's heading into a full moon, and you say, how does this color mix with the people? And it's like you see the existence in the people, right? You see how the people favor, you know, the asteroids. You know, you see how the people favor uh the carbonation that, you know, that's left behind, you know, in the soil. You know, you see everything and you see how the people are made of it, you know? And it's like you get to see them on the court play basketball, you know, you know, it takes a lot of skill, you know. I don't look at basketball as like football, you know. In basketball, you have to be in shape, you know. You're just not there just because you can run fast or you can jump high. That's not basketball. Basketball is about duration and competition and skill level. Can you get past your defender? Can you shoot over your defender? Can you get your defender off balance? Can you get in your defender's head? Can you get in the opponent's head? How can you defend the fact that, you know, they have a good coaching staff? Good coaching staff. How can you get past that? You know, these are all the things that basketball kind of glamours at. Basketball is a game, man, that people just, you know, if you weren't born to like basketball or not love basketball, I hope you love baseball. You know, I hope you love baseball, cuz like, to me, like, baseball is like steps behind hockey and basketball as far as sport you can love. And you don't really get to enjoy hockey because, you know, it's a winter sport, you know. Once winter is over with, you know, the Stanley Cup is over with, you know. And to me, like, racing is not really a sport, you know, because you put lives at danger. You put your own life at danger when you're going at high speeds, you know. You can measure your opponent's, love for you if they allow you to get past you. You know what I'm saying? Like if they don't want to bump your knee or they don't want to stick their foot out when you're coming down on your Achilles heel, you can measure you can measure the friendship in the person that you will have. Say for instance, if Ron Artest is guarding Paul George, or if Michael Jordan is guarding Tracy McGrady, you can guide the principle of, is that friendship here? Like you can guide the principle in that. You can't guide the principle in football, really, because the players aren't around long enough for you to, make a bond with. And half the time when you're on the field, you don't know who you're playing against. You know, you see them and you hear them through the mask, but it's not cordial. Like having the mask on, it's not cordial. You know what I mean? And then it's like there's safety precautions. Is this person going to be out because he's too overweight, or the players are, a lot of players, in the NFL, they may, be going through, pre-diabetes stages, so you got to be careful with that, so to me, basketball is just one of those sports where like a brotherhood is just created automatically, you know, and like I never joined basketball because it was because of that. I joined basketball because, hey, I can go up to the court, when I'm 19, 18 years old, and play basketball, 20, 21 years old. And I'm good at it. It was a chance for me to, get out the house and be able to exercise more, and enjoy life. But that's all I have to say in this video right here. I'm glad to see Rudy Gay back. I'm glad to see Cade Cunningham, carrying the Detroit Pistons, Is he going to carry them to a ring one day? We'll see. Great peace. Yakoki.